Well, welcome to today's episode. Today we've got a very exciting guest, Art Bejarano. Art is the founder of Fire Yourself, a simple way to self-direct your career. After building a nationally recognized aerospace engineering firm for 23 years, earning a spot in the Inc. 5000 list 3 years in a row, Art saw firsthand how corporate instability, underutilized talent, and mass layoffs were robbing professionals of purpose and security. Determined to change that, he focused his career to help mid-career professionals reclaim their future through clarity, mindset transformation, and strategic self-direction. Today, Art speaks, coaches, and consults nationwide, empowering high-tech talent to build careers with impact and independence. Now, for those of you just joining the podcast, we at Strativa AI help businesses scale their revenue over 12 months using AI. So if you'd like to learn how to take your business to the next level, make sure to stick around for future episodes. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop the word growth into the DMs. So, Art, can you please tell us a bit more about yourself and the journey that got you to where you are?
Certainly, Mark. Appreciate, first of all, thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to be with you and
Of course.
to be able to have this interview with you. And yeah, I started back in October 2022. So now we're very close to that 23-year mark of being in the aerospace industry. But it's been more than just aerospace. It's been telecommunications. It's been medical instrumentation and space, actually. And so what we did is we had quite an experience starting out as a very small business with just myself and a partner. And as it turned out, we decided early on that we wanted to grow into more than just a two-man show. We wanted to be able to basically start offering better and a broader sense of services to the industries. And so what we did is we started to expand our outreach to whether it's different companies, whether it's different individuals that were strong in their specific fields. And that's how we were able to grow. When 2008 had hit, we actually had a huge loss with that whole economic recession. I mean, we lost
Yeah.
close to about 60% of our revenue. And
Wow.
I had to make a big choice, a decision, whether I was going to go back to becoming an employee again or move forward. And talked it over. Excuse me. I talked it over with my wife, and we both agreed, oh, I'm going to move forward. And so I just started going out, pounding the streets, talking to competitors, talking to potential business partners, talking to just anybody to start really stirring up what's out there and what do people really need. And we came across a few opportunities. One of them was the Orion Space Crew Vehicle, where we started out. We only had about 4 employees at that time, but they had put out the request for us to build some specialized test equipment, and we did. I was able to pull together a team of about 23 different individuals, and we were able to they were running 3 months behind on their schedule, the primary contractor. And by the time that we were done, we were able to go ahead and find, within 10 days, we found all the people that we needed for this project, and we finished 3 months ahead of schedule.
Incredible.
And
What a turnaround.
so yeah, it was, and it was. We didn't have a lot of fanfare and stuff like this, but we were very proud of ourselves because that actually is what
Sure.
got us into the Inc. 5000 3 years in a row.
Mm.
And so, as it turned out, this process that we had developed, we actually trademarked it called Flex Interface Project Fulfillment, and it was a way of being able to find the right talent and placing them in the right position of companies that really need their specific services. And so, I did a little LinkedIn survey with quite a number of different individuals, directors, managers, project leads, program managers. I mean, I was talking to as many people about it as possible, and we had an 83% overwhelming favorability towards this process. And the last person was actually a director over in the software department at Jet Propulsion Laboratories. And he said, are you going to make an app out of this? And I about panicked. I was like, oh my God, there's this much interest. how am I going to have all this talent? And so that's where we developed our CodeGen app. And that's the process that we're actually getting into, where AI is going to be a pretty sizable portion of this app as we continue to keep moving forward.
And so who would be the users for the app then?
We're looking at actually, it could be small, medium, and large. It could be solo entrepreneurs. It could be large businesses. So businesses would actually be posting those specific requisitions for specific talent that they're looking for. And our app is going to be made available as a membership to all of the high-tech skilled professionals that can fill these roles. And for a very low annual fee, they can be able to continuously keep getting new opportunity after new opportunity. So what does this mean? It means that a person, if they're looking for a full-time position and want to remain as an employee, they can be able to do it. If they want to be a contingent worker and work on small jobs but make sure that there's more opportunities coming along the way, this would be a perfect opportunity, and especially for 1099 subcontractors. They're continuously looking, and it's a little bit tough to be the salesperson and do all the work without having to put your tools down for a little while. Why not have an app that's going to be able to keep delivering new opportunities to you on a regular basis?
It's working in the background for you, and then it's like, hey, check this out. Got it. Okay. And then, so you mentioned that it's currently in development, or it already has been developed. I'm sorry, I didn't follow there.
It's been developed. We're at version 1. We're at version 1
okay.
right now. It will be, actually, we're testing it out on the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store. And so it'll be made available there, but it's only going to be made available specifically for people that are U.S. citizens or people that are legally able to apply for and work here in the United States. But at least what this is doing is we're helping to pre-qualify the right talent for these jobs that these companies are looking for. So the version 1 should be coming out, we're hoping, by mid to late October. And we've got additional versions where you can be able to do online video interviews.
Oh, that's smart.
We're going to be able to do some additional things of helping people to build the best resume that will highlight their talents and their capabilities so that everything about them shines, plus a lot more that's going to be coming down the pipe.
Fantastic. And then when you were first speaking about this, you mentioned about how it's going to be kind of meshed, interweaved with AI. So what are some of those aspects?
Well, right now, what we're currently doing is that we're building a database right now of quite a number of resumes of people that we've collected over the years. And we're using an AI CRM called All-in-One Marketing. I mean, I don't mean to plug or whatever, but
Sure.
They have AI built into it where we can have automated stream our automation so that we can stay in continuous contact. It's going to allow us the ability to keep that level of communication and outreach going on a regular basis. That's part of the AI. The other part of the AI is that the logic behind CoGen is I developed it so that it's engineers talking to engineers.
Nice.
And we're going to keep that as the format, as this backbone of the proprietary backbone of our process. But we're going to augment using AI that's going to highlight their specific skill sets, their specific talents, so that we could actually go from a 70% baseline rate up to about a 95% baseline, so that now we're just going to be presenting the right people, minimize the amount of time for interviews, minimize the amount of time for going to weed out, people that maybe don't have as strong expertise on it. But at least it's going to bring out the highlights of each individual's capabilities to the jobs that they're bidding on.
What a great platform. That's fantastic. What sort of background or backlog, I don't know which way to put it there, as far as all of the content around the potential jobs that you may be linking up the candidates with? What sort of buildup do you have that you're going to be rolling out with it in regards to that? Either, I don't know, like in terms of companies or the job numbers, or
one of the things that we're definitely doing is we're highlighting right now. I mean, we want to branch out into multiple verticals, but the primary verticals that we're going after is the high tech industry. That's my
Yeah.
familiarity. That's an area that I have personally experienced a lot where there's been ghosting of specific candidates that actually do have the capabilities to do the work, but they're not looked at because they want to, companies want to, select who they want to be able to do or whatever. There's, ghosting that happens. There's also, how do you get exposure nationally to all these different opportunities? So we're going out nationally and we're going to be reaching out to small businesses, all types of businesses so that we can give them this opportunity to find people. The
Hmm.
best part about it is a lot of smaller businesses, from my research, it takes anywhere from an average of 45 up to 100 days to find the right candidate.
Okay.
And I'm like, boy, that's a lot of lost time. How do you
Yeah.
even bid on a job if you don't even have somebody that you could be able to find? So
Right.
my platform, we're helping small businesses or medium-sized businesses to find the specific talent that they need and put it in front of them to create a short list within 10 business days or less. So
Outstanding.
that's going to save them a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of money. So that's
Yeah,
going
I
to be
would
our
think so.
primary outreach for marketing.
Yeah. Do you have anyone that's doing anything similar in the space?
No, no, actually,
Yeah.
there's not. There's some companies that are out there that actually hire contingent workers and provide 1099 subcontractors, which is fantastic. But I've already had a couple of them reach out to me saying, as soon as you get this thing tested, we want to be one of your primary beta testers. And one of the companies, they have a list of about 1,000 qualified engineers that's on their database, and they want to be able to minimize the amount of time that it's going to take to reach out to these people and snag them before they find another opportunity. So this is already gaining a lot of interest with small businesses as I begin to start talking to them about it.
Yeah, that sounds like it'll solve a problem right away for them.
Absolutely.
And so what would you say some like challenges or obstacles are that businesses face when scaling and using AI solutions, but because there's some newness to the AI development or something, right? Like what sort of obstacles have you seen or do you see other businesses face when trying to implement AI?
Oh my God, that's a huge question because from what I've experienced, and a limited amount of knowledge is going to be very crippling to trying to implement something. You need to expose yourself, and I highly encourage that if you're a manager or a COO, somebody, you just don't hire somebody to just to, hey, go implement.
Yeah.
Tremendous amount of pressure that's going to take place, and you're not sure what the overall implementation process may take. And so my encouragement is make sure that you're staying on top of the industry. You don't need to learn everything and learn how to be able to use every tool, but having the idea of being able to implement, where are going to be the primary areas that I could be able to implement, because an AI consultant could go in and say, and go, well, you need it here, 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 and here, and you're going, and you want to make sure that the implementation is going to be working alongside with what your current processes are, because it is a step-by-step developmental process. I highly encourage people to really get involved with understanding this. The other aspect is, as you're beginning to implement it, I'm like, for example, for me, I'm also running my original business, Integrity Engineering and Design Solutions.
Hmm.
I have new jobs coming in. I have business elements that I have to address. I have sales and marketing to address. I business, new business development. So I'm having to stay on top of all these things while I'm going through the implementation process. So finding the time, really managing your time is so vital. But I highly encourage you to jump on the train on learning about AI and how it can really benefit your business.
And what are some key things that you've done to actually automate your own business, maybe with the integrated solutions that you were mentioning, or your current one, or both? Have there been any platforms that have been most influential in driving your growth in either space?
Well, one of the things that has been that I have utilized, and here's the dilemma that I've had is I'm in the process of launching CoGen and implementing a lot of AI solutions. That's going to minimize a lot of overhead right off the bat. But trying to do two elements at the same time has been very difficult. But I have been, whether it's been Claude, ChatGPT, there's a couple of other platforms I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember off the top of my head, but especially being able to create content and being able to create my brand voice. Now
Mm,
that was a real eye opener. I mean,
mm,
I was trying to create all my content, use AI to create all this content and stuff like this, but there was no continuity, and it
ah,
wasn't sounding like me. And I was
yeah.
like, this is crazy. So I started to do that, and so now the content that I'm beginning to put out has my voice, and it has what I see are the ailments that are occurring in today's markets and industries. So that's the thing that I've been strongly using in integrity engineering
Mm-hmm.
is both Claude and ChatGPT. But like I said, going into this new venture, it's like I want to do that right from the get go.
I see.
Because if I build it manually and then have to convert it again, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot. I've got to be able to do both.
Well, you're drawing on your experience from integrity engineering, and then now you're deploying it there in CoGen,
Right.
and hopefully gaining I say efficiencies, scaling that way, and so forth.
Yeah,
That makes
absolutely.
sense. What would you say would be some manual processes right now that you still find yourself doing as you're developing CoGen that you wish could be automated?
Some of those processes are, I would say, there's always the process of learning the tools, the manual process of learning the tools. I wish there was some way that we could implement AI knowledge and to be able to do this because it does take a little bit of time and struggle to learn the manual processes on how to be able to execute it because it's important for me to understand what the process is so that I can understand how to best utilize AI in that. So that's one of the manual processes that I face that is a bit challenging. The other part of it is, I mean, I can't say it's part of the manual process, but it's actually it's actually the learning process. I
Mm,
love
just in general?
learning with AI.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you
I
there.
love it. And I can get
Yeah.
lost in it. And I can learn how to be able to use the tools, but then there's always more to be able to learn. And so part of the process is to begin to start finding and utilizing the right talent, the right experience, the right expertise that can really begin to drive these tools faster and better.
Mm. So I guess going back to CoGen and finding the right talent in that regards, um, how do you address the talent's potential concern of maybe feeling as though that they are represented best by the AI that's overlaid in the system so that they have some assurance that like their AI assistant or your AI assistant that's kind of overseeing and helping matchmake, if you will, is truly representing their best interest?
Yeah. Well, number one, having a bit of an overall understanding about some of the utilization of AI helps me to be able to have at least a bit of an idea if the person that I'm speaking to has a good, thorough understanding and to see some of the work that they've been able to do. Because the last thing I need is for somebody to be practicing for what I'm wanting to implement.
Yeah.
But I do have in my business plan for CoGen COO, which is it's going to be a COO AI.
Hmm.
I need to have somebody that has an overall view on being able to where we can still have the expertise on each one of these areas, but have somebody that has an oversight on it to make sure that the implementation flows smoothly between all the different areas.
Yeah, a few years ago, that CAIO position didn't even exist,
No.
and now I see it popping up more and more. As truly a vital piece in a lot of growing businesses. Yeah, for sure. Have you come across any unexpected setbacks because of AI, and what have you done to, learn from those challenges?
Well, early on, I have taken quite a number of AI courses to understand the different tools. I mean, I'm talking some pretty long programs to understand it. And one of the things that was really difficult for me was that I would learn something, and then as I took a repeat of that particular program, I then learned how much more it changed, and the upgrades and the continuous improvements that are being made in AI are becoming so fast, so
So
furious that
fast. Yeah.
trying to really hold on to or grasp hold of any part of it is very difficult. And the thing that I would really caution people with would be to not chase after this type of stuff. I mean, don't chase after the immediate fix or the immediate thing, because that thing's going to change too.
Right.
And you may find out that later implementation is even going to be better and is going to encompass a lot more. So it's not a matter of waiting, but it's a matter of having understanding is what AI is providing for me at this moment going to resolve my, give me some solutions to the problems or the issues that I currently have. And yet at the same time, I mean, like, for example, I mean, how many platforms are there that can do AI video editing or
Yeah.
video creation? I mean, they're popping up left and right. And where I was using one tool, I realized another tool was actually providing more closer to what I was looking for. And then I was chasing another one that
Sure.
it was even better.
Sure.
And so I think it's important to try to connect with people that could actually consult with you to provide you with the right and the best answers so that you can get on a platform and really sink your teeth into it and know that it's going to work with. And if you have to change later on down the road, at least you have the processes put into place.
Indeed. And so with that, how will you measure success with CoGen? What are going to be some big key metrics that you're going to use to measure the success of it?
Well, the initial part right now is making sure that I have the AI portion that'll be able to answer the emails, that'll be able to answer the text messages, be able to respond back immediately using AI bots that can be able to handle some low-level tech support as well as some of the sales.
Mhm.
Being able to have these elements put into place and knowing that they're functional and that they're going to be able to do, pretty much what I'm looking to do. But one of the things that I am setting up is I'm inviting 100 different high-tech professionals to be beta testers for me, where they can be able to utilize the platform for free for up to 6 months, get their hands in on it. Start telling me what issues are they starting to have. What do I need to improve on? What can we do to improve the software? And so having these beta testers is going to same thing with beta testers for businesses. Once they can help us go through this little bit, that's going to be a bit of a headache, a process. Finding all the bugs and anything and improvements that we need is absolutely critical. And I think being able to have their help, their support, and their feedback is going to be absolutely critical.
Yeah, that's where the magic sauce is going to be created, I think. I mean, you've got the groundwork for it, and then those feedback loops, if you will, are just sounds like really setting it up for success there quite a bit.
Well, I have so much experience and have talked with so many different individuals, small businesses, high-tech professionals, getting ideas from them. I can only gather so much information, but if I can gather more from more people, we may be able to have a lot more insight and a lot better results with a better performing platform.
Yeah. Well, I like it. You're rolling it out, so that people can break it. It's just what a lot of tech companies do, Apple and on downwards, right? Like they roll these things out and we're the beta testers. We're the ones that are breaking it, but then they fix it and it's a great product. Or it
Exactly.
also, I think what it also is going to enable you are is the idea that, you're probably likely going to have a degree of it that you may be incorporating that maybe wasn't in your first iteration of the plan. But then by using it, both parties, right, say that, hey, there's something here that is either not considered or not working or whatever. And then it's just going to, build on itself with the speed of AI and everything these days, most likely come to fruition pretty quickly to be super valuable for both parties that are using it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You kind of scared me when you said break it, but that's just part of the process.
It's part of the process, absolutely. Yep, it's bound to happen.
Exactly.
And so looking ahead, what sort of emerging trends do you think are going to be significant in regards to AI and this space as you're looking ahead over, gosh, just the next year or two?
Well, I mean, that was a part of a conversation that you and I had, was being able to do, I forget what the terminology is being able to read facial expressions,
Mm,
so that you can tell that there at least be some indicators that can be able to tell, is this person, are they coming across very confident in their knowledge and their experience and the expertise that they have in it? Or are they kind of BSing their way through it? And it's not to scare off people from being able to do it, but it's important to have an understanding that even this type of tool can help a person to reflect on what how they're communicating, so that they can actually become a better communicator, so that when they go after these opportunities, they're coming across as a confident, proficient individual that has those capabilities. Being able to read facial tonality, or their tonality, their facial expressions, that type of thing, is going to be a huge, huge other elements about being able to, whether it's even using AI to scrape people that may not know about this type of a tool, that we can begin to do some scraping on the over the internet to find people that are hungry, that are looking for these opportunities, that they're just not maybe in their area. And so this CoGen platform is actually helping to give you national exposure
mm,
to anywhere in the United States for these jobs.
mm-hmm.
A lot of the jobs are turning into remote opportunities for people, especially after what happened with the pandemic. A lot of people were working off site. And
Oh,
so
sure.
people are choosing now to either work off site, on site, a hybrid of both. People are looking for, they don't want to be pigeonholed in just to a specific job. So now they can have that opportunity to diversify themselves and expand their capabilities. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the things that I had to do for or that I not had to, but it was like, it was innate in me, that anytime that I was told, nope, you just need to do this, this, and this.
Right.
And I
Right.
was like, I'm bored, and I'm like, I can't do that. And I think it was because I was incapable of doing that. I think there's a lot of people that just kind of buy into the, well, I've got an IRA, got a retirement account, and
Oh,
I've got
totally.
come.
Yeah.
And like, no, no, no. Let's start looking. I think the trend is actually starting to go more towards people becoming entrepreneurial, offering their experience and expertise to a lot broader reach of companies. And I think the companies are going to be a lot happier, because now they don't have to hire somebody full time and then have them sit there twiddling their thumbs trying to find
Yeah.
something to do. They can hire them right at the moment that they need them, and then the person can go off to that next opportunity. The company saves money, and the employee makes a lot more, or the tech makes more.
I love it. That you just totally teed me up for my next question. And when you were talking about going on to the next opportunity, what have you built into the app as such that it's the AI is learning from the experience that a completed project or job feeds into it. So when the candidate, say they're a 1099, okay, and they're done with 6 months of work or something, right? Does the AI have the capability of kind of somehow like grading what went on or evaluating anything so that, I don't know, I'm thinking of just something basic like a Fiverr or an Upwork, right? Where there's like these ratings of individuals that are high users of the platform or something, so that they are kind of put forward first to potential hiring managers or what have you, and just how that might be addressed.
Well, there's a couple of elements in there that I'm glad you mentioned it is that we definitely want to build a rating system into it. But the one thing that I know that where AI is going to fit is being able to, where somebody is an RF engineer and they're going, hey, I've got these capabilities. And then all of a sudden there's another RF engineer that actually specializes on antenna design. Well, the antenna design guy may wind up getting that job and maybe get a little bit of a lower rating because he wasn't as proficient as the other RF engineer that was actually having to design the actual components. So we need to make sure that these are apples to apples, and this is where I believe AI is going to be able to best be able to give a rating system, because I don't like the generic rating system that you come across somebody that really they're a talented individual, but you just hired the wrong person. And so
Mm.
now you're giving them a bad rating. And then there's those people that deserve a bad rating because are kind of throwing their resume out saying that they have all these capabilities. And that's what we're trying to eliminate. So
Yeah.
AI, yeah, on being able to really rate people, we want to help rate them in their specific fields. That's going to highlight them to the best of their capabilities or their abilities. And the other part of the AI is being able to. We want to implement it so that, as the name is, it's called CoGen, and it stands for Continuous Opportunity Generator, which means
Nice.
it's giving both business and the specific high-tech individuals, the professionals,
Yep.
a continuous flow. If a business needs somebody immediately, bam, they can put it out, have somebody in their queue to interview within 10 business days.
Yeah.
For the high-tech professional, they may take a job, be working on that job, but that job may have a timeline on it that they're going to be wrapping it up in, let's say, 2 months. Well, because the app is going to continuously keep sending them these new opportunities, they'll
Hmm.
be able to go, oh, this job is going to start at XYZ time, and I could go ahead and apply for it. And that way they're lining up their next job without having to have
That's
that
great.
gap trying to go back out and find them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge.
So the
That's
AI
fantastic. That's
actually.
a great service just on its own.
Exactly, and so what we
Yeah.
wanna do with the AI is to build in the timing so that we
Mm.
know when the job starts, we know when and that the AI will communicate with the individual, that has those capabilities and find out what's the approximate time frame that they'll be able to have, where they're gonna be available. This way, we're not kinda knocking on their door, right, all the time.
Yeah.
We wanna make
Right.
sure that
Yeah,
we're
you don't want
actually.
to annoy them.
Exactly, we
Keep
wanna
them
be
on their
effective.
job. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, right. And then, so how much will it basically like see the applicant or the candidate's availability and take everything of them into consideration such that it's doing all of the pre-work that's involved with getting a position, and then where does the human come in on the actual interview or that sort of stuff, so that
Right.
there's like the interaction of the AI and the human, but then it's crunching down the timeline so that the individual can go from one to the other with the least amount of time. And that way, both employers are happy because of the good job that they've done and then a good start date coming up. But how much of that process in between there is automated versus the individual having to do some things?
Well, that's a great question, because this has to do with creating what's in the works for the CoGen app, and that is initially there's going to be a little bit of a manual process of people putting in what their specific capabilities, their information, how to be able to uh, uh, highlight their specific skill sets.
Like baseline
And one
stuff.
exactly. And so that's going to be a little bit of a manual process, although we're already implementing or beginning to put into place using AI that'll read a PDF and automatically preload all of that information. So
Okay.
that way nothing's going to be missed.
Yeah.
And then we want to use that same process and that same methodology to where once they complete a job, we want that job to then be added to their resume so that
Right.
now they're showing the latest information, and this way they have the businesses have the latest, greatest on that individual.
Yeah.
So that's good. So we want that part of it automated as well. The other part is
That's
as
great.
far as the process goes, the moment that the job is posted,
Mm,
the second that it's posted, everybody that meets at least 70 to 72%,
mhm.
70 to 75% of the base requirements is going to be immediately notified. And they have 48 hours to respond back saying, yes, I'm interested. No,
Mm,
I don't really have those capabilities, or I have questions to ask. And then they have
I
that
see.
opportunity to interact with the business
That's great.
and get more specific information.
Yeah. Yeah. Big proponent of making sure that that human interaction is a part of it all. Obviously, then the candidate is best represented, and they're not just being like posted up onto things that might be inappropriate. They might be a total fit, but maybe the timeline doesn't work or something like that.
Exactly. And that gives that you got to have that human interface.
Yep.
I don't care what, AI cannot be a fully automated process it's going to be able to answer everything that's going on with that individual. You just don't know if they're going to be wanting to take that vacation, or they have a family emergency to take care of, or they're working on a huge project that's eating up their time,
Yeah.
and so you've got to have that human interface.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you foresee the relationship between humans and AI working together, like in terms of collaboration and actual job roles?
That's a huge proponent that's actually is being heavily discussed. I mean, it was already put on that close to 85, was it 85? Well, I know remember if it was 85 million or 85,000, but there were going to be so many people that are going to be displaced on the smaller menial tasks, and that's an issue because you just don't want to have people out on the streets, doing that, and nor should there be a fear factor that's involved, but there should be process in which AI should begin to become part of your repertoire. You
Yeah.
need to start building that into your experience, your expertise. And I mean, I have a son that's actually going to Arizona State right now that is wants to go into aerospace engineering. And he asked me, he goes, what's going to happen with AI? Is it going to take over? And there's some people that are like 100%, yes, everything's going to be built by AI. Well, I can understand to a certain degree, but there's got to be an implementation process, just like I was discussing with you, of building AI into it so that they can gain the confidence of knowing if AI is performing the way it needs to perform. And so there's actually CAD tools that are starting to implement AI into their tools, into their
Mm,
tool set, which is phenomenal. So
mm,
they're going to start doing a lot of the analysis. They're going to start doing a lot of the understanding the integration of different components and different systems and being able to produce the results, but they still are going to rely on those experts to be able to at least have some kind of a say in what's happening because I mean, you're putting people's lives, on the line if you're flying a craft
oh,
that was
yeah. Big
implemented
time.
properly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my recommendation to him, when that happens, we're going to get you one of the latest tools for educational purposes to start learning how to implement AI into these CAD tools and how to
Exactly.
start
Yeah.
prompting it so that way it becomes part of your experience and your repertoire when you start applying for these opportunities.
And then you're not one of those that are, allegedly perhaps becoming a part of the lost generation. I think that what you're referring to is the World Economic Forum's recent study and summary that they think that by 2030, I might have the stats wrong too, but I think 90 million jobs are expected to be lost, but then there's going to be like 170 million gained, right? So there's a net gain. And the message being, just like your son, I've been invited to speak in front of some students at San Diego Community College District that have these exact worries, these exact fears. And the message is going to be exactly what you said, Art. It's going to be the individuals that are using AI, at least to some degree, right? That are
Absolutely.
using it to get creative and to leverage their time and to use it to to help speed up projects or what have you, like those are the ones that are going to be the most respective in their respective fields. And so,
Absolutely.
yes, the graduating class of the seniors coming out of college, over these next few years may have less jobs that they're actually applying to because some of those jobs may be no longer really in existence, but instead they have the ability to apply to the ones that are within whatever they've learned, and knowing that something that's going to have them stand out is the use of AI and how they could incorporate it. So like with the CAD stuff, right? Or I spoke with someone a couple weeks ago, they're doing it in CNC machining. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
AI is absolutely everywhere, but where you can take those use cases and apply your skills to it, so then you're, a part of the new economy around it, then you're going to, in my opinion, have nothing to worry about.
Well, I'll tell you, it's great that you've highlighted this out because it reminded me to also mention that for what about the people that have 10, 20, 30 years of experience?
Yeah.
Valuable, precious experience. And one of the things that I'm trying to encourage and have actually put some articles in LinkedIn on is about the effect of AI and what is an answer. And one of the things that that I talked about in there, and I actually had talked about it in my book, is being able to start looking at becoming an entrepreneur to where if your business doesn't allow you to start expanding your capabilities into the AI arena, then you could become obsolete.
Yeah. There you go.
That's all
Right.
there is to it.
Yeah.
And some companies they may be very selective on who they want to bring in as an AI to learn AI and become an expert. And you may or may not be one of those people that they select.
Yeah.
So that's where, for me, I realize that as an entrepreneur, I have the opportunity to bring AI into my arena. And this is where by becoming, I just want to encourage there's professionals that are starting to really and to look at becoming an entrepreneur so that they're not going to fall behind.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm trying to help individuals. When I wrote my book, Fire Yourself, it's talking about exactly that, which is become an entrepreneur so that you can expand your capabilities, your experience, your expertise, and start learning AI so that you can implement it within your realm.
I love it. Yeah. Can you go a little bit deeper on the book? I know we opened with it, and as we're winding things up here. Yeah. Can you share it? And
Yeah,
it looks like it's obviously to print. So where can people find that, and what's that about a little bit more?
they could actually find it on Amazon and also what's the e-version?
Oh, Kindle?
Kindle. Thank you.
Yeah. There you go.
You can find both on the you can get the paperback as well as the e-version and basically I have to discuss, there's a tremendous amount of fears that it takes to becoming an entrepreneur. I mean, I had to walk through that myself because I was always employed, and I got to a point that I said, I got to take a dive. I got to jump into this. And there's quite a number of things as becoming an entrepreneur that can really affect the decisions that you make, even to become successful as well as losing your business. And so what I deal with at the very early stages on it is to talk about the mindset that it takes in order to be able to do this. And I create a number of ways how people can be able to step out of that fear, that anxiety of the unknown, because becoming an entrepreneur is jumping into the unknown.
Mm. And
So
that
when
doesn't
you
stop.
and it doesn't stop. I mean, even to this very day. I mean, I always run across where businesses or customers that are doing business with me and have done business with me change how they're doing business with me, and I've got to learn how to
Sure.
be able to adapt and make sure that the people that I work with learn how to adapt with it as well. So having the right mindset is absolutely critical. Then I jump into how to be able to, taking care of, customer service. I mean,
Mm.
sometimes there's so much competition between an employee that is working at a large company, and they bring in an outside, expert to be
Yeah.
able to help them with a specific task and stuff. And not a lot often, but more often than not, there's some jealousies that could actually come up on
Sure.
how to be able to, how, they don't want to be perceived as not knowing their job as well as that expert.
Sure.
So how do you do this? And the way I address it is helping people, entrepreneurs, to provide the best customer service, because what you're doing is you're the person that's there to build teams. And I show a number of ways how to be able to work internally with businesses so that they invite you back because you're a team builder and not an antagonist.
Nice.
And then it goes into learning how to be able to price your specific talents. I even have some prompts in my book to discuss how do you determine what the rate to charge on the East Coast versus the West Coast. Yeah,
Interesting.
because you may be doing work with companies nationally, and so
Yeah.
why leave money on the table? You don't want to
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
And then I kind of ended up where it's absolutely important, where dealing with the values that at the very end of the book, to where you don't neglect your family.
Oh,
Entrepreneurs
nice. I
get
like that.
so passionate, so excited, and then they just
Right.
want to spend hours and hours doing stuff,
Right.
and then their family is left alone. And
And
you
then
really
life has gone by.
and you've got to realize that it was because of having your family and the
Yeah,
values that get
exactly.
that opportunity for you to take as to become an entrepreneur. Or even if you're having struggles, you don't want to put more and more and more hours, and you're panic and stressed, and then you take it out on your family. And I've learned all these things to be able to teach and how to be able to help people become aware, to create and continuously keep creating the best quality of life with the people that are closest to you while you're really building a business.
Well, and also, how can people learn more about you? Where can they find you? Learn more about CoGen and all the other work that you've done, etc.
Well, several places. One is LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you can find me there, and I also have CoGen is a separate profile on there, but it's connected to my personal one, which is Art-Bejarano on LinkedIn. And then there's also Facebook, which is art.bejarano.junior. Don't ask me why I couldn't find the same, just the same name. Or I could actually be reached at art@artbejarano.com, and you can send me an email there.
Oh, fantastic. Art,
Perfect.
you've been a fantastic resource here to everyone. Really excited to help you get the word out about CoGen. It sounds like a fantastic service. I'm sure it's going to go really far. And the book as well, I think that's a great way that, it sounds like you're really helping people along their entrepreneurial journeys as well. And yeah, just, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate the opportunity. This is a great show, and thank you so much.
Indeed. All right. Thanks again. We'll be in touch.
All right.